Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? I am super excited for this video because I thought it'd be fun to share with y'all my entire face palette collection. I did an entire eyeshadow palette collection video about a month or so ago and you guys seemed to really enjoy it, so I thought I'd go ahead and kind of continue this series. If there's other parts of my collection you'd like me to go through and talk about each product from, definitely let me know down below. Feel free to leave your request, and if you see someone else has a comment with something that you'd like to see, make sure that you like it, because I definitely appreciate your feedback when it comes to deciding what videos to do. So before we jump in, I did just want to say that if you are new to my channel, hello, my name is Amy. I love talking about indie makeup brands and occasionally other things, but mostly that on my channel. So if you like content like that, you're in the right place. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and you will see through my I'm already thinking about eyeshadows, through my face palette collection video today, that I do have quite a lot of small brands here to talk about. I was going to rank these, but I literally can't. Like, I just can't. There's so many where it just depends on my mood or what color story I'm going for, or I don't know. There's so many that would just be kind of like in the middle. So I decided to go ahead and show you guys those in the midst palettes first, and then I will have my top 5 face palettes towards the end of the video. Okay, now let's do it. Okay, so first I have a highlighter palette from Ulta Cosmetics, and this is the Alva 2 highlighter palette. It has such beautiful packaging, one of my favorite packagings ever. And here is what it looks like on the inside. Do you see my sad little silver butterfly? Yeah, my son ruined it. I was like, I'm never touching that butterfly. I'm never messing it up. And he got his hands on it. So I'm fine, it's fine. But this highlighter palette is so pretty. I love this shade right here called Salamander because it has like pink and green and white reflex to it. It's just a really cool shade. There's a blue, kind of like a purpley iridescent, and a gold. So this is not my like most natural everyday highlighter palette. I feel like I would reach more for this highlighter palette for like inner corner type things rather than on the skin, just because I've been loving more of like a soft, natural glow. I mean, my version of soft. And then I have another highlighter palette here from Ulta Cosmetics, and this is the Soul Main highlighter palette. This was their original one. And I will say that for everyday use, I do like this one a little bit more. There's another kind of gold iridescent one, but the one in the Alva 2 palette has a little bit more peach to it, and this one's just like more plain gold. And then there's a really stunning soft pink. There's a neutral shade and then a blue iridescent one. So I do like this highlighter palette a lot. I think that the formula looks nice and glowy on the skin. Okay, so next I have a Cover FX face palette that I got in a boxy charm. This is the Perfector face palette in the shade light to medium. I'll show you guys what it looks like. And I feel like this face palette is a little bit odd because the finishing powder has like actual specks of sparkle in it, which I don't really love. The contour I feel like is a little bit too dark for me. The highlighters are both too dark for me. The brightener works, and then this blush works. So overall, it's just not a face palette that I reach for a ton. I mean, you can tell I barely even made touches on any of the imprints. You know what? My sister is not quite as fair as me, so I think I actually am going to go ahead and pass this on to her. Was not planning to make this video a declutter, so this is probably the only thing that's going, but I never ever use this. Okay, next I have some highlighter palettes from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I have the Moonchild palette, which this one's probably my least favorite from them. I don't use this one as much, and I don't know, I guess it's probably the fact that there's like a gray, a purple, and another purple, and I feel like those are like the hardest highlighting shades to pull off. I normally use these for my inner corner. The shade Pink Heart is the only one in this palette that I've consistently used for my face, and I just don't reach for this as much as often because I used to love these for the inner corner, but now there's so many eyeshadows that are just so intense and sparkly and multi-chromes that I use instead, so this is going a little bit neglected, but it's still a cute palette. And then I have the Aurora palette, which I love the shades in this one. It's slightly a mess because I've broken 2 of these shades here. I don't really use Orion or Spectra a whole ton, but I love the other shades in here. This green is such a stunning color, and then Luna and Eclipse on the face are just so beautiful, so don't mind how messy that one is. And then I also have the Dream palette, which actually maybe this is my favorite one for just using on the skin. Here's what it looks like, and you can see again this one's been pretty loved. All of these shades have more of a glitter glittery finish, and they all lean very pink. I know when you look in the palette, it's like, oh, there's like a gold and a yellow and an orange and a green and a purple and a pink. No, they're just all pink on the skin, I swear. I do have a full face swatch video of this in case you're curious to see them all on the skin. So if you don't like pink highlighter, I would not recommend this palette. I don't even know if it's available anymore, and if you don't like glitter highlighter, I wouldn't recommend it either, but if you do like pink and glitter, then this could definitely be something nice to have. I do really like it. I especially like the shade Wish and the shade Sunshine. I think those are super nice, so I'm a fan of that palette. Okay, next I have the Maddie Richie Makeup times Art Cosmetics palette, and I'm not sure if this is still available anymore, but here is what it looks like, and it's a really cute little highlighter palette, and I really, really love the shade Jawbreaker and Aura. I think they are just such stunning pink highlights. I love a good pink highlight moment, so I've used those a ton, but I don't think I've ever used the shade Vulgar or Electra on my face, to be honest. But I love the pink ones so much. So I'll have to go and check and see if this is still available. I wish that those ones were available as singles, but I doubt that it is because this was a collaboration palette. Okay, next from Juvia's place, I have the Saharan Blush Volume 3, which is, oh wait, no, sorry, this is Volume 2. Low-key though, I wish I did have a Volume 3 because this one is the lighter of the two that they have, and it's still just too dark for me. It's too pigmented. It's just a struggle for me to pull these blushes off. They are a nice formula. If you do have more of a medium tan skin tone, you might like this one. And then they do have a deeper option available as well, which is the Volume 1. So I actually use this more as an eyeshadow palette than a face palette now, but when I use it as a face palette, it just was not for me. But I still keep it with my face palettes. I don't know why that is. I should probably move it with my other Juvia's Place palettes. And speaking of, I have one in front of me, which is actually a face/eye palette, and that is the Queen palette, the Fumi and Juvia's collaboration. And I know that this was supposed to be able to be used for eyes or face, but I only reach for this for my face, if I'm being honest. I love the shade Ole and the shade Sister to Sister as blushes, and then the shade FDV Approved I love as a highlighter. Okay, so the next face palette that I have here is from Coastal Scents, and this is the Blush Essentials palette. This is a shameful moment because I actually have not used this yet. Here's what it looks like, and it's super cute, like super bright pinky blushes, and these three all have really nice satiny finishes to them. I think that the packaging is adorable, and I just haven't used it yet. I also have some singles from Coastal Scents that I haven't used yet, so maybe I should do a video on those together. I mean, it looks super pretty, I just haven't used it. Okay, so next I have a highlighter palette from Ulta Beauty. This is the See Me From Space Drenched Highlighter Palette, and I do really like this one. Here's what it looks like. It's a nice little highlighter palette. Obviously, my favorite shade is this one right here called Heliocentric. I think this might be the only product in all of the face palettes I'm showing you today that I've hit pan on, but I really love this highlighter. I think it's just such a flattering shade. I tried to force myself to slow down on it because I didn't want to finish it up, but maybe I should pull it back out and use it some more. I do like the other shades in here. I don't know what I was trying to say. Galactic, Extraterrestrial, and Celestial I think are all really pretty. Shades Flare and Supernova are a little bit too dark for me, so I don't really reach for those for the face ever, but I do think that overall this is really nice. I just wish that Heliocentric was available as a single because it's such a pretty shade. And then next I have three highlighter palettes here from BH Cosmetics actually, and I used to be obsessed with these. I think I have full face swatch videos on all three of these actually, now that I think about it. So I'll make sure in the description box when I'm linking things, I'll like put the link to where you can buy it, and then underneath I'll put face swatch and then link that video in case you want to see more info on any of these, because I know I've got at least one more that I have face swatched coming up. So this first one here is called the Spotlight Highlighter Palette, and this is all pretty neutral shades. The formula in here, it's a little bit more powdery. It's not like the most amazing formula ever, but I did think that overall that they were really nice and pretty and a really good formula for an affordable highlight. Or if you're a makeup artist, I think that has a good variety and overall they look pretty on the skin. The other one in that black packaging is called the Blacklight Highlight Palette. I thought this one was really cool because it's all duochromes and it's kind of like the Moonchild or Aurora palette vibes for less. And this one shade right here called Illusion is such an intense purple shift. Like it literally will make your camera be so confused at like how to light your face because of the way it looks. I don't even know how to explain it, but that shade is absolutely ridiculous on the skin. And I feel like even being super fair, I was able to get all of these 6 highlight shades to work on my skin tone. So I did really like this. I don't reach for it that often anymore. It's definitely been neglected. I should pull that back out. But my favorite one from BH Cosmetics is definitely the Duo Light Highlight Palette. This one is super nice because the shades in here are stunning, but they are such a nice smooth texture. I think they look so beautiful. I don't like this shade right here called Top Secret. That's the only one I felt like was a dud in this palette. But if you love like a golden highlight, these are stunning. If you love a peachy, pinky gold, actually, you know what? There was a highlighter that I wanted to buy from Give Me Glow called California Dreamin', and I feel like this shade's gonna give me those exact same vibes. I need to pull that back out and use that. And then there's this one right here, which is a pink to green shift. So beautiful. There's this one right here, which is like a greeny to blue shade. It's a very interesting color, so I do really love this palette. No idea if they're still selling it though. So next I have 2 different face palettes from Adept Cosmetics, which is a really cool small indie brand. I know that they are selling eyeshadow singles now, but I don't think that they have any other products currently on their website other than like empty magnetic palettes, which is kind of where they got their start. So I don't think these are available. There's this one here, which is the Face Ambience Mineral Glow palette, which is more highlighters. Actually, thinking about it, I don't think I use that one as much, but the Magnetic Face and Cheek palette, I think is just what this one is called. I really liked this one because it has little cats in it. I mean, I'm living for cat imprints. Actually, you know what? It might be a dog, but I'm just going to say it's a cat because I'm a cat person. And I really like this highlight. I really like this blush shade. And next I have the Natasha Nona Love Glow Cheek Palette, which the packaging on this is super fun and cute. And this was part of the Valentine's Day release. Here's what it looks like. And I do like this face palette, but I don't think I would say that it was worth $55. I don't reach for it that much. The highlight shade right here is pretty, but it's definitely a little bit more on the chunky side. I really like the cream blush that's in here. This is a pretty shade, but this other highlight is a little bit too bronzy for me. I think maybe if that one fit my skin tone more, I would like this palette more. But overall, I just don't reach for it that often. It's not like products where I'm like, oh yeah, let me remember to use that one cream blush from Natasha Nona. And then I have 2 palettes to mention right now from Alamar, although one is coming in the top 5, which actually just turned into the top 6 because I'm indecisive. But I have the Bronze and Brighten Trio, which is in the shade Fair Light. And I do really like this one. I wouldn't say it's my perfect bronzer palette ever because I wish that this shade right here was just a little bit lighter because it's supposed to be like a highlighting shade and it's actually like the same shade as my skin. So I feel like when I put it underneath my eyes, it's not really highlighting anything. It's not doing what I wish that that shade would do in this palette. And then the bronzers I think are nice as well. They have a really nice formula. They blend nice. They're not powdery or dry on the skin at all. But they are definitely warmer than I thought they were originally going to be. And then I also have the blush palette in the shade Medium Tan. I got this one from BoxyCharm, which is why I got the medium shade, because if I'd purchased it myself right off the bat, I would have gone straight for the Fair Light one. But I will say that I do love this, and this is actually the reason why I ended up buying the Fair one, which we'll mention in a little bit. I know I'm giving spoilers, but I like the formula of this a lot. I really love the shade Seclusion. And I think these blend beautifully on the skin. They're super nice, easy blushes to use. I feel like they build up more, which is definitely my preference for blushes. I prefer something that builds up rather than something that's super pigmented right on impact. So yes, I really love these, and I think that the packaging is super cute as well. And then I also have a highlighter palette here from Ulta Beauty. This was their collaboration with Melissa Michelle. It is the Bling on the Glam Cheek Palette. I do really like the mauve packaging to this. And then here is what it looks like, and this has been a little bit neglected, but I'm looking at it now and I really want to pull it back out because both of these blushes look like such neutral, pretty blushes. The highlight shades in here don't speak to me as much, but I do really like Melissa Michelle. That's the reason why I purchased this in the beginning. She just seems like such a sweet person, and we actually have the same hometown, so there's that. Okay, so the last face palette I have to mention before we get into the top 6. This is the Ofra and Francesca Tolot Face Palette. The thing about this face palette is both of the bronzers are too deep for me. I cannot use them, but the blushes are absolutely stunning. They're really beautiful, glowy, just delicious blushes. They are pretty pigmented, so I have to be super careful. Okay, so we're gonna do the top 6 now, which are not in any particular order. They're just face palettes that I really, really love. So the first one I'm gonna mention is the Beauty Bakery Milk and Honey palette. I love this face palette. It was kind of a hidden gem because I purchased this just because I wanted to try Beauty Bakery. I think I purchased this and 2 lip products and their setting powder, and I just wanted to do a video trying out a few of their products, and this is definitely the one that I ended up loving the most and using consistently long term. I just feel like the highlighter formula in this palette is so beautiful and soft and glowy, and it just blends into the skin so naturally, and it looks even better throughout the day. When you apply it, it looks super natural, but I just feel like it like molds to your skin and it looks so pretty as the day goes on. I also really love that I can wear 3 of the 4 shades. This one's a little bit too deep for me, but this golden shade I can pull off, and then this shade right here, the pink called Oh Honey, is such a stunning pink. I love a good pink highlighter, and that one just looks so, so nice on the skin. And then of course the bee packaging is super cute as well. Everything packaging wise that Beauty Bakery Cosmetics does is super cute. And then next, another adorable packaging moment would definitely be the Lunar Beauty Moon Prism Blush Palette. Actually, you know what? I don't know. Okay, I'm torn about including it in the top 5 actually now. I'm like, I told you, I'm so indecisive. I do really love this blush palette because I think that it is such adorable packaging. I live for the aesthetic. I do feel like a lot of the shades end up looking kind of similar on the skin. My favorite shade is this one right here called Soleil because I love a good satiny blush moment. So I wish that there weren't as many mattes in here, but overall I do feel like it's a very solid, easy to use formula. It's a good blush palette. Okay, I'm retracting this from being in the top 6, okay? I really like it, but I wouldn't say it's holy grail status like some of the other ones I'm mentioning in the top ones, like this blush palette I'm about to mention next. I would prefer over it, so I don't know. I think it was just the packaging. When I was sorting through them, I was like, yes, top 5. So next is the Alamar Cosmetics Colorete Blush Trio, and this is the fair one. I love this so, so much. I just love the shades in here and the formula, and these two have more of a satiny finish. They're just so beautiful. The shade Castaway is like a yellowy orange blush moment, which I know a lot of people have been doing lately, and it was never something I saw myself doing, but I feel like this is a really easy way to pull it off because it does still have some orangey tones in there, so it's not like just straight up yellow on your cheeks. So I think that's fun, and it gets me out of my comfort zone a little bit because I'm definitely like a pink or a mauve or a pink or a mauve blush. Like, that's me making my decision each day as I do my makeup. And then this one right here called Paraíso is such a beautiful neutral blush. Like, I could use that blush every single day and it would go with every single look. And then Scorcher is such a beautiful peachy orangey shade with a sheen to it. I love, 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 love this blush palette. Okay, next is the Natasha Nona Diamond and Blush Palette, and this is the shade Daria. I've been seeing this on sale on Sephora for like $45 a ton recently, which, I mean, still kind of expensive for a blush palette, but I feel like it's personally worth it, especially because I paid like $90 for this. I don't know what's wrong with me, but this is a beautiful palette, and I think one of the reasons I love it is because there's so much product, it's such a good formula, and every single shade works for me. I can use all of them on my skin tone, which I really appreciate because I feel like I've noticed with a lot of face palettes, which is one of the reasons I don't buy face palettes that often anymore, is I would buy them for a few shades and then a bunch of shades would end up going untouched, and it was just like a partial waste of money to never use those shades. So I definitely prefer a face palette where I use every single product. So the top section here has 2 different cream products. There's a cream highlight that is a really just natural soft glow, and you can use that on its own or you can use it as a base to make the other highlights more like intense. And then there is a cream blush, which is such a beautiful shade. Really, really love that. And then there is a powder highlight here, which is like a duochrome pink to gold moment. Super pretty, although it did confuse me quite a bit at first that there is a powder in the cream part. It doesn't really make sense. I don't know. And then on the bottom there is a highlight here, which this one is the diamond powder, and it's a little bit more of like a sparkly highlight. I would use that one as a topper. This one is the Glow Extreme, and it is such a beautiful highlight on its own, or you can add it to the other products here. You could top it with the diamond one, but anyways, I just love that highlight. It's a nice neutral shade. And then there's also a powder blush, which I've gotten quite a bit of use out of as well, although you can't really tell because it's super hard to see use in blush. So I really like this face palette, and I feel like overall, every time I use it, I just love the way it looks on my cheeks. I can't remember. I think that I did a full face swatch video on this, but I'm not sure. That was forever ago that I bought that. Okay, next we have a face palette that definitely has one of my least favorite packagings ever, but I think it's an amazing palette. So this is the Lunar Cosmetics Labs Contour Palette, and it looks like this. And I just don't like the packaging at all on this because I just have a thing about eyes, and I think it's super creepy, and it just like makes me kind of sick to my stomach. I can do spooky, but I just, nope, don't like that. I don't know if it's supposed to be a dragon or like a person, but it freaks me out. So the inside packaging actually is a lot cuter. It just has kind of like a spooky antique vibe to it. Here's what the actual colors in the palette look like. Part of the palette is so dirty because I would just take my brush and mix all three of the bronzer shades together. I love this for a matte face palette, especially if you have fair skin, because this just has something so unique to it. I feel like if you do like to go more warm or more cool with your contours, your bronzes, you can use shades individually, or you can kind of go back and forth. You can mix them together. You can, like, if you want to use a contour that's a neutral shade, you could just mix a little of this, go in a little gray, and blend it out, and it looks so nice. And I absolutely love this shade right here, which is a really beautiful, bright, slightly yellow toned powder. I love it for setting underneath my eyes because it actually does highlight, and I don't have anything similar to this. The only thing I can think of is a ghost powder that I have from Makeup Revolution, which is more close to this one, which is more of like a cool toned shade, but I love this super light shade with just a tiny hint of yellow to it. I think it's so nice. And then there's also 4 blushes, which are nice as well. I kind of wish that, you know, like 2 or all of the blushes were more satiny, just to kind of break up the monotony of all of the mattes in this palette. So I do really like this, and it's definitely the most fair-friendly contour palette that I have tried, because I bought a ton of contour palettes whenever they were crazy in like 2014, 2015, 2016 era. And this is the one that I found that I can use every single shade in here for some purpose. I believe they say you can also use it as eyeshadow, but I haven't tried it like that. And they have another color version of this that's available now that is for deep skin tones. They used to say that this palette was for anyone, but they came out with another one, and I think that one is definitely going to be more flattering on deep skin tones, and this one's more flattering on fair to light skin tones. I don't know. I feel like if you have a medium skin tone, there's definitely shades in here that you wouldn't get use out of, this half of the palette at least. So anyways, I really love that one. And you can buy all of the shades as singles that are in there. Okay, so lastly, I'm gonna go ahead, and even though I didn't say it was in any particular order, this very last palette I have to mention, I'm pretty sure is my favorite, and that's because it's so unique. This is the Dawn Face Palette, and this was the collaboration between Midas Cosmetics and Neon MUA, and I was really excited about this, but I didn't realize how unique this was until I actually got it in my collection and I was looking through all my other face palettes. So I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. It does have a little mirror, and the thing that makes this so unique is I don't have another face palette that has a blush, a highlight, and a bronzer that all perfectly fit my skin tone. I have a lot where it's like, oh yeah, I can kind of make this work for something or other, and I have a lot that are like all highlighters or all blushes or like a little bit of each, but just not perfectly curated for fair skin. And I believe this one is supposed to be for fair to light skin tones, but I feel like this is just like the perfect travel palette or all-in-one palette if you just want all your face products together. I really like this. I would change one thing about it though. This contour shade is a little bit too warm for me. I wish that it was more cool toned. So if it was like my perfect wouldn't change a thing face palette that would be more cool toned, I would make it more like the Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder. But the formula of this palette is super buttery. The 3 shades here are all just regular powders. They're just super creamy. And then the highlight definitely has like the ColourPop Super Shock kind of texture to it. It looks so beautiful on the skin if you use a brush that's like right for it. Like I personally recommend the Sigma High Cheekbone Highlighter brush. I think that that's a match made in heaven. If you use a brush that's a little bit more flimsy, it's not going to pick up the highlighter as well, but you could also just go ahead and use your fingers and just tap it into the skin, and it is such a beautiful highlight. So I really love this face palette, and they do have 3 other shade options available if you are wanting to try this formula, but these aren't the right shades for you. Definitely check out their website. Alright, so those are all of the face palettes that I own. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!